How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about MMAT metamaterials. Many have sent me messages saying, Dre, we need to get an update. They released their earnings and so on. What do you have to say about it? So we're going to be jumping into it. So before I get started, of course, I got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the earning highlights. Yes, there were some things that I want to bring to your attention because you know what? They actually are something to take into consideration if you're going along with your position. And then secondly, we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support and we also want to know resistance, and as far as what we need to look for looking for a reversal. And then afterwards, we're going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information and as well as recent institutional ownership. This is key, like I was saying, for anyone going long on the stock. And then afterwards, we're going to check out the order flow distribution. We want to know, were there any large-scale orders that were happening on the Friday? We're about to find out because this will impact the stock price. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts. So let's get to it. Let's go over the quick earning highlights for MMAT. So we see it, metamaterials clocks 197% revenue growth in Q2 seeks contracts. Metamaterials reported second quarter full year 21 revenue growth of 197% year on year to 0.62 million. Development revenue grew 196% year over year to 0.62 million. The gross margin improved to 52 BPS to 99.9% as costs reduced to 47.2% year over year. Operating expenses jumped to 90.4% year over year to 5.08 million. Loss per share was 0.03 and the net loss widened to negative 5.18 million. The company held 155.1 million in cash and equivalents. Metamaterial used 5.6 million in operating cash flow during the 6 months ended June 30th. Metamaterials is currently pursuing multi-year, multi-million-dollar contracts with several OEMs. So taking all of this into consideration here, it was great to see that they had revenue growth, but they did spend a lot of money to actually push this growth further. So this is one thing you want to understand, and for the next earnings report, you're going to want to see some improvements. Another thing that is great about the revenue growth, it does show that there is demand in the market for their products. And this is very essential, especially if you're going to be investing in a company for the long term. So now let's jump into the technicals. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for MMAT. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $3.19, being down 5.34%. On the low, it tested $3.16, and then on the high, testing $3.51. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 12.142 million shares, and as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, being at 13.459 million shares. As we take a look at our chart, you can see from the RSI down below, we're at 39.72, so we are in the oversold territory. When we see the indicators now on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And I was saying in previous videos, the more time we spend under this 200-day, we're going to continue to see some more pressure on the stock price, and that is exactly what is happening here. So as far as support is concerned, we're going to want to see this hold up around this $3.16 level. We tested it on the Friday and we're able to see some strength because we closed at $3.19. So if it does decide to pull back even more, then I'll be looking out for areas here around 307 and as well as you can see right here around 290. These are areas you'd want to see hold up. We did test 351 as far as the high on the day. So going into next week, you'd want to see it actually come back to retest this area and see some momentum so we can come back here to reaching the 200-day at $3.84. Do keep in mind this will be an area of resistance here. There will be a lot of selling pressure because like I've said before, as well, we want to get to $4. $4 is a psychological area. If we have a lot of momentum and there's a lot of buying volume coming into the stock, we can really start seeing some moves to the upside. But until we have that, it's going to continue to be volatile, and it's going to continue to be trading in this tight range that it has been trading in for quite a while. We can see as far as this 312 and also here right around this $4 range, this seems to be a very tight area, and we just need to see Meta make that momentum move above 4 for things to start looking good again. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for MMAT. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see here as far as for this 13th, we have a lot of institutional activity here, and as far as closed positions, we only see one. So that is good. So as far as positions are concerned, we could see Anson Funds Management that purchased 3.1 million shares, or just a bit over that. So that is a significant position. We also have American International Group that went in with just under 35,000 shares. Cetera Investment Advisors went in with just over 12,000 shares. Parametric Portfolio Associates went in with just under 11,000 shares. And again, this continues. We could also see ProShares Advisors going in with 15,843. And then we also have Simplex Trading. This is going back as far as on the 12th. So a lot of institutional activity here, which is really good to see. Now, when we take a look at the short interest information, scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 1 million, updated 24 minutes ago. And as far as for the short borrow free rate, it is at 1.92%. Taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 12th, it was at 66.11, and now the close for the 13th is at 56.21. So with that said, MMAT continues to have short squeeze potential, but do keep in mind shorts are heavily vested inside of this play. So if we're not getting a lot of volume coming through the stock, you're going to continue to see pressure on the stock price. I just want to make sure that is something that all of you are aware of, and you can actually base a strategy to figure out how you want to go about it with your position. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for MMAT. So we could see here on the inflow, it was 9,072, and on the outflow, it was 8,431. So we had 0 on the large for both. On the medium, we had 5,142, and on the small, we had 3,930. On the outflow side on the medium, we had 5,742, and then on the small, we had 2,689. So overall, we ended up having an inflow day. So as far as the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for the 13th, it was 0, which was a Friday, and also on the 12th, which is Thursday, we had 10.27, and then the 3 days prior were big time outflow days, as you guys could see. So if institutions are actually buying in as far as for the day of Friday, they were not doing large scale orders. They were mainly focusing on small and as well as medium sized orders, but we do see there is a good amount of outflow as well, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing this coming from the retail side, especially when you don't get a lot of volume coming in and there's a lot of shorts inside of the stock. You're going to see some pressure on the stock price. So now let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for MMAT metamaterials, there's a lot of factors we need to take into consideration here. The first thing being is when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, we can see the short volume ratio is well over 50%. So it does present some short squeeze potential here. But the only way this is going to happen, we have to have a lot of buying volume coming into the stock. This is very key. Now, when we took a look at the institutional ownership, we do see institutions have been loading up on shares. So that is great for anyone who's going long on metamaterials. Another thing that I want to go over with you guys is the revenue growth. There is demand in the market for their products, but they need to become more efficient when it comes to keeping their costs down when it comes to selling these products. And this are one of the things that you want to see an improvement for their next earnings report. They also have a pretty solid cash position as well, which is having, I think it was just over 155 million. So there are many opportunities that they can pursue with that. Like they were saying, they're pursuing taking a look at other contracts and other other investments, and so forth. So one of the things that I also want to go over before I close this video out, as far as large scale orders are concerned on the Friday, we didn't see any of that whatsoever. But if institutions are getting involved, because please keep in mind, this is a penny stock, they want to make sure they have the right risk management in place. And it's part of the reasons why they're not going in with heavy positions either. So for anyone who's actually thinking about trading in this place, since I know there's a lot of traders that watch my channel and I'm a trader myself, you're going to want to see those areas of support and as well as resistance being respected. But we want to see some strength above those resistance levels, because if we can get past it, I'd love to see it go to the $4 range. We can really get things moving here. But for the most part, considering the tight range that it has been trading in for quite some time, you can look forward to seeing a potential move. But just make sure you have a strategy as far as your entry and as well as your exit plan. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.